Welcome to the program. This is What's Your Story? My name is Catherine Wangi. We're here at the Vanguard Lounge in Westlands. Thank you so much for joining us. The conversations tonight take up a two-part series on youth empowerment. So the year is coming to an end. It's December already. And as young people, the question remains, how do we make 2024 different from what has been in yesteryears? So the plan tonight and for next week as well is to have guests we've had on the program this year who can have an impact and impart wisdom, gems of wisdom, to young people. Small audience we have, we just wanted to make it small and cozy, so we give opportunities for Q&A and the guests as well to share from their personal experiences. So we welcome them to the program, starting with, he's an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. His name is Silas Jakakimba. He's also a senior partner with Ceslo Advocates LLP. Karibu sana. Looking very good. Karibu sana. Your coffee is there waiting for you. And our next guest, she is a top-rated, highly commended, highly decorated banker, now a co-founder and managing director of Adapter Earth. She's already here. Madeline, welcome to the show. You look good. You look good. Thank you for coming. And into, agribusiness with, what is it, climate change, all of that. So, because that is also a big topic now, so we'll share with us. And this man is no stranger in this city, and I think also this region. If you have an event going on, he's a guy. Like, he's the events guru in this country. He's the co-founder and COO of Chris Limited, the leading events company in town. Chris Kirwa. Looking so sharp.
Hi guys.
You came to whitewash all of us. I have never seen you in a suit. Like, dude.
We are forever in overalls, safety jacket,
even
safety
when you're on the
boots.
show a year ago, you are
so
not.
So today we had to try and look nice.
Thank you so much for your willingness to come and at short notice. This is, like you heard me say, youth empowerment. And of course, we have to clap for our audience, by the way. It's so good to see you with your notebooks. I like this a lot, like you came ready to learn. So there's been lots of things happening, and a lot of it, actually maybe 90%, affects our young people. And so we title this Youth Empowerment, and it can take any form. So the first thing I feel we need to tackle is the thing that's in everyone's mind. Everybody says, how do I operate in a harsh economic environment? So either I have a business, or I want to start a business, or I just finished school, I don't know what to do, and I'm here, and there's all of those stories that surround, these young people. Ama nimekosea? Am I making assumptions? See, at least smile mkisema hapana. So I want us to just go step by step. Obviously, that's why we're having this in 2 weeks. I'll start obviously with the lady. Yes, Miss Madeline. Young people have questions, and so I want us to just flow. We will tackle first the economic side. So they have businesses, or they want to start businesses, or they're in careers they're unhappy in. So could you just open it up for us? How do we come out and make sense of what's going on around us?
So I'm happy to see the ladies in the audience as well. I think big thumbs up. So I think in the area of business, and coming from someone who was for many, many years under or in employment, it takes a leap, a bold leap, to actually decide that I'm going to step out there and start my own thing. But it is well said, and it is true that it is possible that you do much more when you're doing your own business than you were while in employment. Even if you really do well and rise like I did, in the ranks, up the ladder, I think you start to realize you're made of more. You start to realize if I poured out what I have completely into my own thing, I shape it. There's no red tape, and there's no barrier. There's no, there are no, you define what you want to make out of it, and you can go as far as you dream. And those dreams are what I'm calling the bold leaps, because sometimes you'll be wrong, sometimes you'll be right, but you celebrate both. even when you're wrong, you're right because you learned. And that's the most important thing. Yeah.
So touching on the leaping, Chris, how did you leap into Kate, Chris? You know, what is that story? Because yes, and you've said you've really opened it up well. So the how, because the how is what we now need to dig into. So he also started his business, Seslo, amongst others. You started Kate Chris. So ulianzaje?
Kuanza Kate Chris ilianza na jina ya wife na jina yangu. So Kate is my wife, Chris is me. But it used to be a joke. The joke was that when we get a baby girl, we will call her Kate Kirwa, Kate Chris. That was very funny. So it was a joke. But at the same time, when we were dating, I kept feeling that the company that I was pouring my heart out to was not allowing me to progress at the speeds I felt I needed to. And when you're working in an environment of someone else's dream, you will definitely operate within the confines and the boundaries of that dream. So you will find yourself struggling. And let me just do a disclaimer. I met a friend of mine, I won't mention the name, and he told me every time he ever got out of employment to try to start a business, it never worked. But he's such a good CEO that when he walks into any company, that company flourishes. So there are also people who are made to be able to operate and work in environments of someone else's dream and excel. So let's not take it away and say all of us need to jump ship and go into employment. Some of us, we jumped out because we were forced to jump out. And then you realize, you know, when they say when you're on rock bottom, the only way is up.
Yeah.
So at some point, and you know the story, I've been here before, I walked out of employment and walked all the way home, 27 kilometers. I used to stay in Umoja. And the reason why I left is because I didn't want to go back to that work. And I kept thinking every day I go, I am not improving. Now, the scenario that I found myself in, I didn't have mentors. I didn't have this, where we will sit. And remember when she's speaking and when my friend here will speak, I'll also be learning something. Even you guys when you speak.
Yes.
So sometimes the so-called mentors, which is us, we actually learn more from you guys because there is what you know that we don't know. Yeah, so the leap was forced,
Yeah.
where you feel I need to leave
Yeah.
and do something for myself. But trust me, it's not easy. At some point, I nearly went back, but I locked myself in the house.
Yeah.
So I don't leave. Yeah, so I was in the house for a month. I wasn't leaving. Because I kept telling myself, if I go back, it won't change.
Wow.
And not that I had something I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
No.
But I kept feeling there is what I need to do, but I hadn't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
Wow.
fun.
Someone note that for me. Tutarudi hapo what he was doing for a month and what was going on in his mind. Mtu atanikumbusha hiyo swali, please. I want to come to you, Mr. Chepkeres. So you come to Nairobi. There's a struggle for school fees, for university fees, and then you finish university, and your sponsor has different dreams from yours. In his case, someone was funding his education who had this idea, but he felt he wanted this. So how did that, where was the alignment?
We should be able to pursue our dreams or be allowed to pursue our dreams. And what I also know is very important, which Chris has touched on, is mentorship. Some of us lacked mentorship programs. I think in high school then it was called counseling. It's a department for counseling, but I think they meant mentorship is the right word. And it's good, it's happening, and it seems very deliberate from industry captains like you. I think that is what's key.
Yeah.
That's what we lacked then.
Yeah.
Because if there were mentorship programs for young people like this, then things would be seamless. The flow would be seamless.
Yeah.
And you won't feel divided. Somebody wants you to do medicine, then you end up in law. You take a lot of time realigning your systems to posture the future that you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would just say that it's important to deliberately put up these programs for mentorship. Yeah, that's what we lacked then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's true. Even today, that's lacking. I didn't know what I wanted to be, but my parents wanted me to be a lawyer. And I'm thinking, law, nirudi shule tena another sijui how many years. I hated boarding school already. I was an introvert. I think I still am. So I'm thinking, I go to school where I see people again. So obviously I didn't take law, and obviously it brought a rift. And I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So that rift was mended a few years later. But how I knew is one day I'm watching the news, KTN to be specific, and there was University of Nairobi rioting, and that excited me. I said, I actually would love to be in the midst of this. And I'm like, what career is this they do for that to happen? And that's how my journey was formed. That is really my story. But I didn't, like you, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Yeah. So let's come to, for example, who can I give an example with? Who can I use? Okay, Mercy, ladies again. So tell me what you do.
Okay, so currently I'm a management consultant.
Okay.
I studied commerce, recently finished campus.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the space I'm in. I'm passionate about policy making,
Yeah.
so I gravitate towards advocacy.
Yeah. So is that what you've always wanted to do?
It's been a figuring out journey.
Yeah.
Amongst my siblings, some of us are Gen Z, others are millennials. So for me and my fellow Gen Z, they've agreed that our space is dynamic. We are the type that can change jobs within a year or within a decade. So I think that's why I enjoyed consulting, because of the dynamic nature, but also the fact that I get to choose the kind of projects I can get involved in.
Okay. So you brought up the generational question. And you've also said two words, evolving and changing jobs as and when you feel like him and Ibo, what else can I do? So that fluidity, who else is in that space? Nobody. Nuko peke yako.
No, for me, I'm not in the space of it.
No, like in a year or two, if you
bored.
choose a different path, you can do that and your parents will support you. So you're one of the lucky few, so to speak, if I may say that. Who has had support from everybody, from day one? Okay, let's hear your story.
My journey to studying law began in a very funny way.
Oh, you study law? Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So my father was a dentist, and everybody around home wanted me to take that path, especially after the passing on of my father. So people are like, this young man should be groomed so that he can take over the mantle that his father has taken. So everybody was like, yeah, we will take you to medical school.
Yeah.
We will take you to a good school. You become a nurse like your father and major in, or be a professional in dentistry,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. But then when I was in high school, my chemistry grades were terrible. So I could not manage to get those qualifications. But they still insisted anyway, to a point that I was once taken to Kenya Medical Training College to go and attempt a course, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
So I had to now make an application to my former university so that I can be taken in to go and do another medical course. And it's by good luck on my side that the school was not set up. So I was told to choose another course because I was just not ready. I had already wasted time, and I was just not ready to waste more time waiting for the school to be set up.
Yeah.
So that's how I jumped into law.
Yeah.
And I am glad that today I'm here.
Okay.
However, most of my surrounding relatives or even friends, they were not happy the path that I took. But you see, it is about me. It is not about them. It's me wanting to be me and doing the things that will make me be a person in this country.
Right.
That is it.
Okay, that's really good. It's about you. So back to you, Silas. So today law seems to be the thing here. So back to you, Silas. So you said by saying people just need to follow their dreams. So like Mercy initially said, even myself, I didn't know what I wanted to do, which is a good place to be in. You left employment, not knowing where you want to go, but you knew you do not want to go back there and use your energies there, but you locked yourself in for a month. You had someone who funded your education. After university, he wanted this, but you had already gotten involved in student politics and you wanted something different. How do people, and this question will come to all of you, so how do people, Silas, then get to identify? Are there like signposts where we can identify what our dreams are? Because at times it could be something so subtle that you ignore. So in my case, I was just watching news, I'm like, I want to do that. And somehow, in his case, he locked himself for a month, so you'll get to know what you were thinking about for a whole month in the house. So do we have signposts where we're like, this could be it, this could be the path? Because then you also can't wait forever, right?
Well, I don't think it's also a straight path,
Right.
Catherine. And seeing this generation today, I would answer it differently.
Okay.
This is a very creative generation. It's unlike...
You're in the same generation. In
I
fact,
mean-
you should
I am
be
in a-
seated somewhere
okay.
else.
This is a very creative generation
Yeah.
of folks. And they learn quick. They have the world on their hands. It's an IT-based world. When our mothers in the village, they're almost doing WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Some of them. Some of our mothers who didn't go to school. So I think we need to have the IT space in our minds today. And the creativity that these guys have today. So that even if you want to pursue law, and you want to practice law, you want to establish a law firm, you need to be able to get out of the conventional space and find ways of coming up with innovative lawyering mechanisms to offer innovative solutions to your client base. You get it? Number two, once you identify your space, identify what the gaps are in that space, in the community generally, and how to come up with creative solutions to meet needs. Identify the gaps, the needs, and the how factor. How your creativity in your sector would help meet societal needs. I think that's what I would tell young people. Yeah, and we should stop being in a rush. It's not. Don't worry. Don't worry about. You see somebody is driving. You see the internet, Instagram. You see a lot of colorful things. But just be easy on yourself. Pole pole. And once you do that, I think you'll be grounded. Yeah, you'll be grounded.
I like that.
Identify the needs in the space that you feel interested in. It could be as broad as we all are here. Then how to come with creative solutions to meet human needs in your sector. Be it law, be it dentistry, be it journalism, public space. I've also been in public space where we have captains of policy, those who, they say they run government. They're just captains for the moment. So that would be my take for now. So I wanted to say we could look at it, twerk it a bit.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
So gaps, needs, and innovative solutions. So you're not just out there, I'm a lawyer.
Whichever sector, yeah.
Yeah. But how do you innovate? What's the next level in this industry? Actually, that's a question you grapple a lot even in media, because it's changing. Tomorrow you wake up, something new is up. You're like, wow, how do I get there? I like that. Madeline, what would your contribution be?
Yeah, I'm just thinking there's always a box of an unmet need. If you look long and hard enough, there'll always be that square box of a need that's not being met. So I think the tragedy is moving away from it, and yet it sparks your passion, you know? You could be that person who actually addresses that gap that you're seeing. So I'd say if something actually itches you badly enough to almost irritate you, or so to speak, it bothers you enough to spend some time thinking about why aren't things different? in this particular, and it could be on a matter, like I like what Catherine has said, it comes subtly most of the time. It's a still small voice for those who are Christians, but it comes as a subtle theme that starts to develop and becomes a boiling bother, you know, something that makes you wanna sort that out, you know. So what I would say is don't ignore that, yeah? And sometimes what you're doing in school is exactly not what you're gonna be. So don't feel like you wasted time. I like what you've shared. Parents, I'm a mother to big people. My eldest is 29, and sometimes mothers and fathers, we spend a lot of time trying to live our lives through our kids. Yeah, so I think you're in a generation where you can be able to shake that off, yeah? In generations past, you needed to toe the line to be the good kid, you know? You needed to be the shining example of doing what mama and papa say. And then later on, like in my case, you discover, you know, I'm not really boxed for this, yeah? Because every time, even in the workspace, I used to try and innovate, try and come up with different policies, even at very high bandwidth, very high decision-making capacity, even at global strategy level. Try and make themes work across markets so that I can insert it in Kenya, you know? And I got to actually, for a long time, be the regional head for a certain segment in one of the leading international banks, running 10 markets. And what wasn't possible in Kenya, I tried to do it in Ghana or try and do it in a small country like Cote d'Ivoire, and then see it succeeding and try and insert it in a bigger market, and then someone, you know, keeps blocking you. Then I realized, you know what is this that I'm always say at loggerheads with, you know, the straight line. I want to do things differently. I see opportunity. Then I realized, and that's I'm alluding to, we were brought up in a generation that needed to do what mama and papa are kind of defining. So a bit later in life, in my 40s, that's when I'm realizing, you know what, me, I'm going to leave early, you know. I like what Chris said. He shut himself in a room. I frustrated myself out of the job, you know. I decided, you know, I got flustered. I decided I'm frustrated enough to want to leave. And my parents, who are in their, almost in their 90s now, in their 80s, of course thought I was crazy, you know. But look, I mean, if they think you're crazy in your in your late 40s, I mean, it doesn't change. So it's about you. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's no age in Africa, then people are to kind of tick your boxes and tell you, yeah. You can listen in. You can listen in to good advice, sound direction. But at the end of the day, it's what's, like I'm saying, it's what's boiling inside of you. Yeah, at the end of the day, listen to that voice. And actually, you'll really flow, yeah? Because it's your mission. It becomes your mission, your passion. You don't struggle to focus. You know, someone like Chris, maybe, and Silas can tell you, you don't struggle and hate going to start. You know, you find yourself working odd hours. You need to even start to speak to yourself about balancing work and life, because, you know, that river flows. So the earlier it flows, the better. You're living in a generation that has much more understanding support systems and much more opportunity. And I like what someone said. Don't blame yourself thinking time is lost. No. Time is not lost if time is still there.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So in case you're wondering where the Vanguard Lounge is, it's in Nairobi's Westlands area, along Westlands Road. So come on here anytime. They're open to when you want to throw a party, if it's graduation, or even your company event. They have a wonderful ambiotic space. So we take a very quick commercial break. What's your story? Right here from the Vanguard Lounge. We'll be back in a bit.
Everybody in this country says they're an event manager until I sit with them and they speak and I'm like, okay.
There's this space that my youth wanapitia. Kila kitu unaitiwa, there is no money in it. Mtu anafaa aende kwa hiyo space ameitiwa with no money, ama uendelee kufanya kitu yako, better on yourself.
Even when you're wrong, you're right, because you learned. And that's the most important thing.
Don't worry about, you see somebody's driving, you see Instagram, you see a lot of colorful things. Just be easy on yourself.
Invigorating conversations, incredible guests. So grateful to Silas, to Madeline, to Chris, Kirwa for just making time out of really busy schedules to come and impart their hearts to these young people. Chris, 1 month locked in, man. Eh?
Yes.
What was going on?
You see, I was working for this media house, and the situation then was not as structured as it is right now. So, because, okay, my story is a bit funny. I came into Nairobi with a paper bag, landed somewhere up on Machakos, and because my mama had passed away, so I'm the only kid. So my mama has passed away, so I don't have relatives, da 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 da. So that story of saying mama, papa, me, I don't know those things because they were not there. I don't know what it is to have brothers and sisters. I don't know.
Wow.
So I'm here alone. So when you're locking yourself in this house, it's because you don't have options. But now, Marcia, me, I hated maths, terribly. And I know the big question is, why did you hate? Because I was poor in it. So I want you guys to write the things you are poor about on. Ile vitu zenye unajua wewe ni mzee. You need to write those things down. So when I was locked in the house, I was busy telling myself, I am terrible in this. Because I knew I don't want to go back to try what I know very well I'm not good at. So eventually, I figured out, I am this guy who likes order. I am this guy who admires military precision. I am this guy who will walk in. By the time I came here, I was actually looking and wondering, have these guys run cables that can trip somewhere? And if it trips, it will stop this production. As in, I do that quick analysis like that. I don't know where it came from, but it was there. So when I was in KBC and they started a TV station called Metro, I volunteered to be the event manager. Bila credentials, bila anything. What I know by there, it's self-taught to magazines. So I want you guys to shut your eyes kidogo and imagine a world with no cell phone, no internet. Okay, and I'm going to what he said, Silas, where you're in this generation that you can actually pick your phone and get quick answers. What is
ChatGPT.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure what that is. Okay? I'm a bit of an old school who is very, very focused on knowing what is next. So to be able to educate myself, I used to send some cabin crew guys I knew to bring me magazines from abroad to be able to catch up with the world. At some point, I was a radio presenter. So because I didn't want to play music that everybody played, I always used to get Billboard magazines to check what music is at the top. And you can't believe this. I'll send the same people to go record off-air a radio station in UK called Choice FM, so that I listened to how those guys were speaking and how they were sounding, so that I can come and imitate, ndio nikuwe mnoma kuliko hawa tuko nao hapo. Umecheki? Yeah. So it's about you saying, I suck in this, but now, this that I am good at, I need to be at the top. So me, I always approach things also with superiority complex of, nimeingia hii meeting, enye nyini wanoma. Hata labda mmesoma kuniliko. In fact, everywhere I've ever worked, everybody was more educated than me, but I always superseded them. So I ended up in this agency that had hunted me to be able to manage events. Anytime I was working for this agency and the ideas that I tried here and they didn't work, I will always find myself parachuted to countries like Zambia, and I will go and get that team and make sure that I train them, because I'm a believer in training people. I'm a believer in youth. I always give young people an opportunity to speak more, because you guys have time to research, I don't. So why should I waste my time trying to block you? No. You go research, you come, we discuss, and then we perfect this idea together. So that acceptance of, I am in this age group, I am not a millennial, I'm not a Gen Z, I will never be able to have the time you have to research. So instead of resisting you, because the first thing we do as this older generation is to put you guys aside. Wrong. Embrace them. Embrace everybody by the cross. Up, down, and it works like that. So when I was seated in that house, I was always telling myself, what is it that I can do? Then I found myself gravitating towards events management, because that's where the whole challenges are. Everybody in this country says they're an event manager until I sit with them and they speak and I'm like, okay, you're an events manager, yeah. And it's not in a bad way. People are in different levels of understanding. Yeah, so you are either every day growing, but there is something, and I don't know whether my brother and sister here will agree. Some of us reach a place and now you shut down, and now you resist everybody who wants to come and overtake you because you are no longer researching. So instead of researching and trying to embrace anything new, and right now he's mentioned it, this world is technology driven.
Yeah.
Either you are with it, ama hauko. So me, I have a WhatsApp group. At my 48 plus years, I have not a WhatsApp, I have a TikTok account that the first time I logged in, I didn't know what to do. Because one thing, I can't dance to save my life, because people are dancing a lot. So I wondered, what do I do here? So I looked, then I realized I can actually speak about things that I do and people will follow. So I started speaking about things and it started growing. That's the same thing I do on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, yeah. Threads came, I joined, then I got bored a bit because I wasn't thinking it's working, but I'm there. So you some of these things is to try. Jaribu, so I give up, unajaribu tu. But the best thing you can do, guys, have a teachable spirit.
I like that.
Have a teachable spirit.
Yeah.
Have an attitude of, I don't know, and this guy knows more than me, and this other guy that doesn't know more than me, let me pull them up. Always look down, not on someone, but if only you are pulling them up. Yeah, but resistance by those who do not want you to grow equal. I change. Even the guy sitting next to you, by the way, today I posted something and said, nobody wants to fail. Yeah, it's only the challenges that are there that stop you. Yeah. So I am just a product of embracing positivity and saying, wacha niingie hii space, nione kitu naweza push, and who do I push it together? Because you can never do it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love, wow, that was... Hapo nyuma.
I'm Bendik Maina. I'm a choreographer by profession. There's this space that my youth wanapitia. Unapata you are at a position that uko kwa wazazi ama umetoka kwa wazazi, then kila kitu unaitiwa, there is no money in it, alafu kila mtu anataka pesa, si ndio? So like kila kitu unaitiwa haina pesa, lakini kwa field yako yenye umeperfect, as in there is no money you are given. Unaitiwa events, unaitiwa kila, kama ni choreographer, unaweza itiwa events, umeitiwa events kubwa kubwa, kila kitu, but there is no money to offer. So mtu anafaa aende kwa hiyo space ameitiwa with no money, ama uendelee kufanya kitu yako ukibeta on yourself. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa swali yangu. As in, which route are you supposed to follow?
Watu wa events, watu jibu.
You know, when I was busy locking myself in the house in Umo, I was not getting paid. That's another thing I haven't said. For 1 year, I was not getting paid. Recently, I was talking to someone. If I was to mention her name here, you guys will be shocked. She's also working in a space and she's not getting paid. But because that place is giving her an opportunity to be seen, she now uses that to go and convince this other person how well she gets paid in that thing that she's not getting paid. So it's a very tricky place to be, and I know it happens in the entertainment and events space. Unaitio naambia ni aje maze kuje uperform, alafu unajua nini wase watakuona, alafu opportunity watu wajua una exist. Then you find you've been called in those ones 10 times. Sasa unajiuliza kaswali ni siku gani nitalipwa hapa. But it's a tricky balance, a season of being in the valley.
Yeah.
So you can't give up ujilock home design ya Kirwa na my sister hapa. Lazima at some point unavaa dress ya blue na viatu za blue. Unaweka hairstyle ingine kila mtu ukipita wanajua na kuona. Na unatokea na unaambia niko hapa.
Yeah.
Mi ufanya hivi na mi ufanya hivi, ni aje leo? Some of us here, penye kazi God. Unajua kuna time ingine mimi huangalia back nyuma, I don't see my footprints. Then I realized during that time when I could have died, God lifted me up, akaenda akaniwekelea pale. So hapa kuna mahali ya kunanga footprints in life. Najua iko. Hiyo ndio ile time nimetoka KBC, nimemaliza job, sijalipwa, natembea kutoka KBC, nilikuwa naishi Hillocks huko industrial area. Unatembea na Njogoro usiku saa 4 by the way, unatembea 11, unapita hiyo bridge, mahali watu unyongewa left right center, sikuwa inyongwa. Umecheki, sioni time God amekulift. Because kulikuwa tu na opportunity ya madhegi wanigonge, sikuwahi. So, usigive up bro, endelea tu. Lakini wakati unaendelea na hiyo jani, kumbuka network. Package. Kama mse, yani wewe ni professional mnoma sana, umeshinda sarakasi. Juedu unajua kianza pia sisi tulikuwa tunaanza. Yeah. So he's perfected that thing. Ameenda kwa chinku huko. By the way, ukipata mchinku mwenye ako hii Kenya, jaribu mjuane na yeye. Jua wase wanapenda sana stories za at hiyo space yenye huko. Mwambie si tunaweza peleka hii kitu huko. Hata akikwambia nakupeleka for free, enda. Yeah. Juu nani utaenda kukutana naye hiyo place. Yeah.
Anyone with something to add here?
Yesterday I was coming from Olkalau and from Nakuru. And I had a meeting in Olkalau, so on my way out of that meeting I got hungry. You know these joints where sinazijua zile za nyama hizo, nikadecide naingia moja. So the first one, because they were across the road from each other. So the first one, bad service, terrible, flies, everything. Okay? So you look and you're like, I'm not sure about this, but I did what I was doing there. Then I said, for comparison's sake, let me go to the other one across because of next time. Now guess what, and this story is to tell you, the next place where I said, let me go across the road also because I parked my car there. It's rude to have parked the car there and then cross to that other butchery. So I said, let me just do courtesy. Hata kama nikasupu nitaenda nikisip. And I realized it was so clean, quite the antithesis. Quite the opposite of the other place. What is the lesson there? That place had a standard of excellence, lakini from face value zinakaa the same. I like what Catherine is saying. Somebody may look and think everyone here is the same, hustling, nini. But imagine you add value when people go a bit inside, they find you have value. Because that place, that second place, so there was this guy, he's wiping tables, welcoming customers, quite the opposite. And at the end of meat that I bought to take away, which I didn't need to, I'd eaten in the other place. On my way out when I'm paying, he tells me I have a YouTube channel. I don't know why he calls himself hyena_something. Well, it's still okay. So he told me that, and then he said also the kibanda outside, changuo pia pitia hapo mama. Do you see this guy is a waiter inside a butchery in Olkalau. Si analipwa na hiyo kwa tables na kuserve kanyama na masupu na nini. Lakini every customer, can you imagine what kind of free marketing that is? Yeah. Every person who he serves, I think, because that's what I designed. He impresses them by service and then speaks about his YouTube channel. And then akipima hivi anasema pia hapo, just right outside next to the butchery is like a boutique of sorts. Just, nice. So that's a guy who's been employed but taking advantage of every scenario in that aspect. And I can give you another quick example. Again, last week, Bataan, I was in a certain country. I was in the UK. And the waiters were all looking harassed and, like just busy and tired. And, life is fast, fast world. So this one had a particular grace. And I said to her, your service is different. Because I'd eaten at that hamburger place for some time, for many days. And she told me, you know what, my circumstances are different, so I have to act different. I said, what do you mean? She told me her sponsor for her college stopped paying. So instead of going back home to, I think, some Scandinavian country, she decided to ace her game, to do things so well. She's now the supervisor. So she says, you see, all these boys and girls, I'm their supervisor. They are running degrees and master's degrees. They have rich parents. They're in college. I dropped out, but now I'm paid 3 times as much. You see, so before tulikuwa zote waiter. Unaona? Her circumstances change and she decides to add her value. to up her game. Yani unaweza enda chini, si ndio? Like chenye kinileta huku kimeisha, now what's for me now? She decides hapa na whip tables, I'm gonna be different. And she said, I was with my colleague, by the way, and you know, we were like, wow. She said, I decided I'm gonna be like special. Now I'm their supervisor, earning 3 times than this college masters, people who are okay, backed by rich parents, you see. So this story is to say, whether you're in Olkalau or on a street in London, it's what you do with the value that God gave you. Yeah.
It's the principle and the attitude. I love that. I love that. I love that.
Now, Silas, I've heard that at some point you had a sponsor.
A sponsor.
Perhaps paying your school bills, and then this sponsor has got different ideas of how your future will be from yours. So how did you negate the point of you getting to grip and refocus and now recollect yourself and get your energy and the finances that you now lack to be able to proceed?
The good thing about the Rotarian who sponsored my education was that he allowed me to pursue my passion and respected my decisions and availed support. Even when I thought he would oppose my proposal that I shouldn't go do medicine as a second degree, he said, it's okay, John. He calls me John. We'll support you. That is it. That is it.
Yeah. So he had the blessing of having a sponsor who respected his decision, his passion.
Yeah.
Find your passion, make it your mission, focus on it, and pursue it with grit or resilience.
Out of your 10 friends, 9 have to be 10 times ahead of you. My current best friends, every time we meet, you know me, I can talk, but when we are with him, kneel by mouth. The entire time, siongeagi, diaragia.
I would bring it down to 3 things: talent, passion, and a pursuit of happiness.
Wow.
And from where I see this is so broad, it covers any sector we would want to be involved in.
So we have to stop it here for tonight, for this week. Earlier on I said this is a 2-part series, so part 2 airs next week on Wednesday. So be sure to tune in. We have lots to say. I mean, the youth conversation is a wide conversation. I'm not even sure we'll finish it in 2 weeks, but at least it's a good start. We are starting a community of, yes, Chris, I know you need to leave, so please come and leave. Say goodbye. We are saying goodbye. Ciao.
Bye.
Okay.
Watch the show, man.
Yeah.
Watch the show.
What he said.
You better watch
What he
the
said.
show.
Ciao, thank you. Okay. So, remember we said for 2024, we're just building a community where, yes, you've had stories the last 2.5 years where this show has been on, but we want to bring you together with some of the guests we've had on the show. So you get also an opportunity to do your own Q&A based on the experiences you're going through in life, whichever season you may be in, highs, lows, valleys, whatever. We are grateful to the management of the Vanguard Lounge here in Westlands. It's located at Pramuk Towers. That's along Westlands Road, right next to the headquarters of Standard Chartered Bank. Anytime visit this place, it's exquisite. I promise it's exquisite, and they open late into the night. So if you want privacy, if you want a good meal, if you want, good camaraderie and just being in a good space, walk into the Vanguard Lounge in Westlands. I say goodbye, good night. We see you next week as we progress further into this conversation. Ciao.